Hello and welcome to the first of hopefully multiple installments of the MLA Handbook for Writers of Research Papers, the 7th edition. This first video is going to talk about MLA formatting, the basics. So what you need to do to make sure your paper looks good and also is formatted correctly. My name is Ms. Hall.
I am Miss Yellen.
And I'm Mrs. Monopoly.
Wonderful. So we have 2 English teachers and an administrator to make sure things are going to be running smoothly. So our first going to just basically talk about the general overview. So MLA formatting consists of about 6 main elements. You need to make sure you have proper spacing, all right, and that is pretty much double spacing, all right, double spaced. Then we're going to move into font, also talking about margins, the differences between a header and a heading. There is a difference. And also moving on to round out this video, we're going to talk about title, capitalization, and also the overall structure of the paragraph. Do you agree?
Now, Miss Hall, can I interrupt you here?
Oh, of course.
Is this something that we can use in multiple classes, or is this just for English class?
Wonderful question, Ms. Mobley. This can be used throughout health classes, PE classes. Now, some teachers prefer APA style, which is not MLA style. So you need to make sure that you clarify with your teacher whether the teacher wants APA or MLA. If the teacher says MLA, well, you have found the right video. Moving on. Now, spacing. First of all, you want to open up a blank Word document. At the top, you're going to see a bar, a word bar, and you want to click on the format. Once you have the format drop down, you want to go into the paragraph section. All right, now I'm going to put an arrow as well next to that, mostly because I just figured out how to do it. Oh, there we go. So paragraph. Now once you click on paragraph, this box is going to open up. Now you want to make sure that the line spacing, moving that around a little bit, the line spacing is double, and there are no added spaces between the paragraphs because often it will already have spacing in between the paragraphs. So if you click enter after you finish a paragraph, it will give you another extra space that teachers find, quite frankly, frustrating. So you want to make sure that you check off that little box right there before you click OK. Now, moving on from spacing, you're going to click back up into the format button, but this time you're going to click on the font button. Oop, I kind of went over it. Oh, there we go. All right, the font button. Now, if you are tech savvy, then you probably realize, well, Ms. Hall, I can just type in Times New Roman in this box here. Well, yes, you can. But if you are unsure or if you're anxious about that, then continue following these steps. So from the font, you click on it, this box that will appear. This is the font box, and you want to make sure that it is in Times New Roman. So you're going to want to type out Times New Roman. Make sure it's regular, so there's no bolding, no italicizing, and please, please, please make sure it's 12 font. We do not want to see size 16 font papers, right?
Right. And also, if you are having difficulty reading it, you can always make your screen larger, make it say 125 or even 150%, so that you can actually read it, and then you still have that 12 font.
What an interesting and helpful suggestion, Ms.
Yes,
Yellen. Thank you.
I concur.
Wonderful. Okay, so now that we have that issue resolved, so you want to make sure that your final paper has Times New Roman 12-point font, all right? On into the margins. Now, most often, Ms. Yellen, I think you can agree with me, this is where students really struggle.
Oh, yes. Yes. Those margins. You try to make them small or larger so that you make it appear as though you're writing more, but in reality, not so much.
And we know. Now, I know that we are both experts in deciphering whether it's 1.25 or 1-inch margins. I know I myself can tell by just glancing at the paper very quickly.
Yes, so can I.
Yes, so you want to make sure this is probably the most important step. Now, you want to go into Document from the Format drop-down, and once you get into, you want to make sure that your, you want to make sure that your box, yep, that's what it's called, the box appears exactly as seen in this slide. So you want to make sure the top, the bottom, the left, and the right all say 1 inch. Okay, so it's all 1 inch margins. Now, I kind of wrote over it down here, but you also want to make sure that your header and footer also are 1.5. So the header and footer here, they're both going to be 0.5, not 1.5 as I think I just said. So 0.5 again, to reiterate. Now, then you want to click OK, and we're moving on from margins. Do you think we've done a pretty good job so far?
I think we've done a good job.
I think we're cruising right now. All right, now we're going to go into the header. Now there's 2 parts to the header. Part 1 is you're going to click just in the general area at the top of the page, and you'll have this box show up. So you'll have the header close button show up. Now you want to make sure that you click right align up at the top, and that will move it all the way over to the right, your cursor. Now, from there, you're going to type in your last name. Do not type in last name. So if your name is Johnny Smith, you're typing in Smith. Okay? So from there, you have last name. Now, you're going to keep the cursor where it is, and from there, you're immediately going to go up into the Insert drop down. So you have your last name, you're still in the header box. You're going to click on Page Numbers here. All right, Page Numbers. So we're now in the second step of our header portion. So once you get into page number, you're going to switch this. So this is going to automatically say, do you want to put your page number at the bottom of the page as a footer? No. You're going to touch the drop down, and there's also going to be an option for top of page right, or top of page header, and then the alignment needs to be right. Now, I generally have the students put the number on the first page. What about you, Miss Young?
Yes, according to MLA guidelines, you do begin with the page numbering on the first page.
Excellent. So just to clarify, make sure that this box is checked up as well. Then, boop, press OK. Moving on. Now, I think I want to switch over to a nice blue color because the yellow, I think, is too bright. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, it's a little too bright. All right, now we're going on to the heading. So we're going to click out of that header box and just click anywhere else on the paper, and now we're going to start our heading. Now, Miss Monopoly, do you know how many lines the proper MLA heading has to be?
I think there are 4 lines to a proper heading.
Oh, wonderful, Miss Monopoly. So 4 lines, and I'm writing this in nice big first grader writing, 4 lines, and they're always going to be double spaced. So we've already double spaced our paper, we have it ready for double space, and we have it ready for the font, our margins are all correct, our heading is set. Now we can begin writing our heading, not header. So now for these 4 lines, you want to include your name, the instructor's name, right? So Miss Hall would be your instructor's name, the class information. So you want to include English 11A or period 7, English 9A.
Yeah, American Studies, AP English, whatever you have.
Right.
Will the teachers usually clarify and tell the students what they prefer in this section?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Good to
English
know.
teachers definitely, if you're taking another class besides English, they might not, but just give some specific information so it clarifies for the teacher. Specifically, maybe the period.
Yeah.
So it could be health period 7, something
Exactly.
like that.
Perfect,
Okay, great.
perfect. Then, as always, you want to do the date. Now, specifically with MLA date, you want to put the day first, then the month, then the year.
Oh, we're going European style.
European style. That's what I was taught. What about you, Miss Teal?
Usually like month, day, year, some form of like 5, 14, 12 maybe. Or you can write it out May 14th, 2012. That one's entirely up to you, or again, whatever your teacher asks you to do.
Right. So usually if you just ask your teacher to clarify, that teacher will be more than happy to help you with that.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the title. You always center the title of the essay. And notice how there's no extra spacing between the heading and the title. And there won't be any spacing between the title and your paragraph. So we don't want, what are some of the things that we're not looking for?
One thing that we are not looking for, something very large and very colorful.
So, for instance, if I write title, not what we're looking for.
Right, because while it may be very pretty, we don't grade for the prettiness.
No, we don't. No.
Yeah.
And no stencil, please.
No.
I often get stencil or, the Herculean
Oh.
or the Comic Sans. Oh, please don't do that. Okay, just nice, always centered, title of the essay, Times New Roman. Keep it
Right.
consistent. No underlining, no bolding, no italicizing.
And they keep it 12-point font, is that right?
Absolutely.
That is correct.
Everything nice and streamlined.
This is good to know.
And capitalized.
Now, with the title, don't forget, all right? I said please note and don't forget, so you can tell that this slide is important. All right? You want to capitalize all words except for articles. Now, if you're not, if you haven't brushed up on grammar in a while, that means you do not capitalize the unless it's the first word in the title. You don't capitalize a or an. No coordinating conjunctions, that means no and, but, or ors need to be capitalized. And also, no prepositions need to be capitalized. So, of, under. That's about all I can think of right now. Now, some people say that shorter than 6 letters, if there's any prepositions longer than 6 letters, they can be capitalized, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any.
Neither can I. It's okay.
Yeah, so just make sure the prepositions are generally not capitalized. And then always you want to capitalize the first and last words in your title. Now, to round out this video, we have beginning a paragraph. So we have our 4-line heading, we have our header up in the corner, our title is centered, and it is 12-point Times New Roman font. Then we do one space, one enter, and we indent, all right, so you press the indent key, and you begin your paragraph. Now, you can also read along that we put in some information as we were typing our paragraph. Right, Miss Young?
Oh, yes, we do.
Now, I have a question. How big are those margins again?
Oh, wonderful question. Now, Miss Young, would you like to answer?
Oh, sure. Our margins, again, are 1 inch.
1 inch.
1 inch.
1 inch all
Always
around.
All around. That includes top and bottom. So even if you have 1 inch margins on the side, but let's say you have a 3-inch margin on the bottom,
No.
Nope. Not going to fly
Not
in this
so much.
class, I can tell you that much. All right, so if you look here, everything's double spaced. The margins are perfect. We have our 4-line heading. Our title is perfect, as I already said. And we have our double spacing and correct font size. So that wraps up our tutorial on the basic formatting for an essay that is under MLA guidelines. Thank you for watching this. Hopefully it wasn't too long and you learned a little bit along the way. Have a wonderful day, night, or evening.